Botulinum toxin by Alicia and Asha. Botulinum toxin, which causes botulism, is a neurotoxic protein, specifically an enzyme that inhibits the release of acetylcholine, which eventually can cause muscle paralysis and death.
It is released from the bacterium Clostridium botulinum as a polypeptide chain via bacterial lysis. Protease expose the di-chain neurotoxin, composed of a light chain and a heavy chain, coupled with disulfide bonds. The heavy chain is divided into carboxyl and amino terminal domains, while the light chain functions as a zinc endopeptidase. One part of the heavy chain, the C-terminal, acts as a ligand, which is a molecule or functional group that forms a complex usually for signaling.
There are different types of the toxin, yet they experience the same transduction pathway and cellular response. They can be received in different ways, such as from food, an infected wound, or from infancy. In a normal pathway between the axon terminal and a muscle cell, snare proteins, which mediate vesicle fusion, would form a synaptic fusion complex. Then, the vesicle's membrane would fuse to the nerve terminal membrane. This would cause acetylcholine to be released to the muscle cells. Once the acetylcholine receptors on the cell receive acetylcholine, the acetylcholinesterase would break it down and cause the muscle cells to contract, allowing the organism to move.
In an infected system, the toxin enters the peripheral nerve terminal, where acetylcholine is housed. They are able to do this by binding to the nerve terminal via its heavy chain or glycoprotein receptor, allowing it to enter via receptor-mediated endocytosis. It then attacks and destroys the snare protein, causing the synaptic fusion complex to never form. This causes the vesicle, filled with acetylcholine, to never have the chance to fuse with the nerve terminal membrane. A lack of acetylcholine brought to the muscle cells means that muscle contraction will be impossible.
As for cell response, that's the beauty of the toxin's design. It attacks the very receptors and proteins that communicate to other cells, allowing it to silently shut down masses of nerves. Furthermore, the toxin is only able to bind to functional nerves. This means it is able to target nerves and be as efficient as possible.
While things sound grim for those infected, fear not, as modern medicine has developed antitoxins. Antitoxins are antibodies with the capability to neutralize specific toxins, in this case, the botulinum toxin. It is composed of a mixture of immune globulin fragments. While it is able to neutralize the toxin, it does not have the ability to reverse the damage already inflicted upon the host. Fortunately, if the nerve is able to regenerate an unaffected axon, and though it may be a slow process, rehabilitation and therapy can allow the recovery process to take just a few months.
Furthermore, botulinum toxin isn't all that bad. It has been used for cosmetic purposes such as Botox, treatment of severe migraines, movement disorders, and muscle spasms. Muscle stiffness and spasms caused by diseases such as muscle dystonia can be readily treated by the toxin. While botulinum toxin certainly has its downsides, the advances of modern technology have allowed scientists to harness, study, and utilize its components.